The days and nights of exhilarating intoxication had passed. My heart was laden with the remnant belongings of bliss that did not last. In this expanse that is infinite in time, space, and fractured glories, attachment had become a burden, yet I was not willing to let go of its stories. Alone with my rustling thoughts, some days became short, and some nights longer. Though I held no expectation of courtesy from love's saunter, my thoughts were stirring, its rhythm steeped by its adherence, as time hid me away from reality and sometimes my own existence. The evenings of passion had slipped as if stolen by a thief. Some nights passed and hopes gone dry like brown leaves. Sometimes I mourned fate, sometimes the mysteries prompted me to hesitate, as each step traced in love's thorny path brought disquiet and wonder, and the relentless journey left me yearning for the embrace of slumber. In this expanse that is infinite in time, space, and fractured stories, attachment had become a burden, yet I was not willing to let go of its glories. Though the reminiscences of those faded years grew blurred and indistinct, though they drifted far away, my soul stayed tethered and linked. From time to time, life's generosity reeled the recollections in close, and I roused in the sunny yellow which her warm glow evoked. As if the dried leaves of the fields were revived in her rich colors, I could see her and almost touch her. I could hear her voice and my own inner voice respond, the one whose past intertwined with mine into an irrevocable bond. In this expanse that is infinite in time, space, and fractured glories, attachment had become a burden, yet I was not willing to let go of our story. I waded into the waters of her endearment and surrendered to her net. Into her world I was drawn, into the warm in and out of her breath. All of my dreams settled into a colored reality, and adoration became my heart's only truth and blissful actuality. I felt the pulse of her being which seemed to run through my past and future. In her, I perceived the lines of destiny which placed me in love's pasture. Her love embraced me with outstretched arms. It hardened around my body and filled my being with passionate warmth. She took me to a calm refuge from the uncertainties which the world beheld and hid me away from some things, sometimes even myself. As we continued on life's journey, the lows and the highs, she caused me to look with my soul, that which I could not see with my eyes, to touch with my heart, that which I could not feel with my fingers, to examine closer the things that were hidden, including affection that linger. In this expanse that is infinite in time, space, and fractured stories, attachment had become a burden, yet I was not willing to let go of its glories. Though I held no expectation of courtesy from love's clutches, my heart's awakening promised to keep our love unmoved and untouched, to keep her flame flickering steady in the temple of my soul, to let not my eyes hide the shadows which our past behold, to strangle the winds of time that threaten to smother the flame, and let our hearts not be strangers once again. I knew from the instant I touched her lips that I had exposed my fondness, and it came to pass that I became addicted to her most guarded secrets. For the sweetness of her lips distinguished like that of a full-bodied wine as she aroused my thirst. The more I drank, the more my heart was inclined. They say if you want the sweetness of honey, you must get past the bees. Being with her, even in my aloneness, brought fragility to my knees, despite which I floundered willingly to the bosom of her consuming fire. The more I drank from her lips, the more I was filled with a rousing desire. I was never a believer until my heart made a prayer, and it was recognized. It asked to keep her reminiscences fresh and her memories unamortized. That which I do not see with my eyes, allow me to look upon with my mind. What I do not feel with my fingers, to let me touch as my heart so incline. The moment my lips touched hers, I felt the longings being briefly satisfied. I knew from that time that this was an insatiable desire which I felt inside. For longing is not just a broken dream, not just a reminiscence or secret game. The more I drank from her moist lips, the thirstier my fiery heart became. Life has taught me that love that grows at its own pace cannot end abruptly, that life continues as the transient lives in time, preserved with love as a trustee. For love lost is not just a broken dream, not just a memory or a secret game. Gentle and steady, though it evades us, love lives in the soul like a raw flame. I knew from the instant I touched her lips that I had exposed my weaknesses. I was filled with fear that it was going to pull my last breath from my chest. For the sweetness of her lips distinguished her kiss like that of a full-bodied wine. She aroused my longings, and the more I drank, the more my soul was inclined. Being crushed, I can see all sides of me, all pieces that have been broken. Dreams had matured into misery on the edge of solitude and well-being. I want to let her go, but I want to be a believer, and so I dwell in between, as I am awakened to the realm. That true devotion arises from deep within. When I awake, reflections of the girl from India quickly pervade my mind. As sure as sunrise, my musing cut across her beauty that is well-defined. I bathe in her essence as she rests my thoughts from all else combined. Her smile becomes the first sunlight that peeps through the shaded blinds. Her presence made me realize that I am alive and all doubts are allayed, ready to experience the pleasures of love and life for yet another day. Overflowing with pondering of love, my heart is anxious for the day ahead. None could fulfill my fantasy as I touched her body and rolled in my bed. Unsolicited moments in life awaken deep within my being, the intimate fall. Each new day I am anguished by the veiled memories of this girl that calls, fascinated with living for I feel, and I discover something new about love, of life's wisdom and recollections that bring a fresh perspective thereof. Being crushed, I can see all sides of me, all pieces that have been broken. Dreams had matured into misery on the edge of solitude and well-being. As I am awakened to the realm, that true loyalty arises from deeper within. I want to let her go, but I want to be a believer, and so I dwell in between. When I awake, reflections of the girl from India quickly permeate my mind. As sure as sunrise, my musing cut across her beauty that is well-defined. I bathe in her essence as she rests my thoughts from all else combined. No one could fulfill my fantasy as I touched her body gently with my mind.